In this episode of Ask a Griffin, we cover the 4 keys to marketing your property. The reason for considering marketing when it comes to selling your listing is because you have to make some noise to get noticed in this really noisy world of the internet digital age. So let's consider point number 1 here. You see, the new problem is actually also the opportunity, and that is the internet. But we have internet overload. There's just too much going on the internet. So marketing for the property must be considered with that in mind. Is that how are you going to get yours to stand out amongst thousands of listings? Don't let anybody tell you that there's limited inventory. There really never is. There's lots of noise when it comes to listings online. Point number 2, when you go to the internet, you must optimize the presentation of all the pictures and the detail. This is something that's taken much too lightly. Now look, I understand it's expensive to get professional photography, perhaps a drone, whatever else you're going to consider using when you're marketing your property. However, you have that one chance to make the first impression, especially online, if you consider that most people are going to consider anything online for about 4 to 5 seconds, maybe 7, before they're off to the next thing. So you have a very quick moment to create that perception in a positive way oriented towards your listing. And again, remember, listings and pictures online are exciting. People love this stuff, but they will not tolerate poor presentation for very long, especially if the competition, other listings, are being presented in high resolution with really interesting floor plans. In fact, there are interactive 3D floor plans, regular floor plans, high resolution digital pictures, all sorts of virtual tours. They all have to be optimized. This is no easy task. You have to consider this. Now, point number 2 is that once that's done, you have to start to think about the buyer. So you have to attach buyer solutions with your property. This is something that's more of a high-level discussion, but it's actually what happens on every single listing sale. You see, what happens is the buyer comes in with a set of circumstances that they must overcome to buy your listing. It's well beyond whether they like it for the features and the price and where it's located. It's beyond that. It's, do they have a challenge selling another house first and moving in? Do they have a financing challenge where they have to go through a very deep underwriting process? Do they have to move from one state to the next? There are so many things that could slow your deal down beyond how nice the property is. So as a marketer, I always consider buyer solutions. We have a trade-up program. We have quick sale programs where somebody wants to do something quickly. They have round-robin bidding built into them. There are all sorts of things that we consider to make life easier for the buyer. And oftentimes, if you're listed on the multiple listing service, there is another agent. All you agents out there listening to this too, you want to consider how to help the other agent solve those buyer problems as well. That's why we call it a cooperating program called multiple listing service. We should also share our help and our solutions to get more of these people together, buyers and sellers. Now, lastly, point number 4 here is that whenever possible, in a fiduciary responsible way for your seller, you have to create competition. You don't just go into this lightly hoping that some other agency, even though that happens most of the time, one agency to the next, you have to go out there and create this sense of competition. Get in there, do your open houses, make some noise, promote it online, Facebook, YouTube, direct mail marketing, newspapers. There are all sorts of mediums to take this listing package that you've spent so much time creating and get it out there, promote it to the public so that a lot of people will come in. Now, as you go through this course with me, one of the things you should look back to is how do you price your property correctly? Because this is where it really matters. No matter how good the marketing is, if it's priced incorrectly, this is really difficult. In fact, it could be even rendered or neutered, really, is what happens here. Nobody comes. That's not good. So tying in your pricing with the marketing is important. So again, to reiterate, it is important to consider marketing because this will increase your chances of selling fast and for top dollar. Number one, the new problem consider is the internet. There's a lot of overload, so you better be properly prepared for your presentation in that noisy world, point number two. Point number three, always consider that the buyer will need to solve some problems to consummate the sale. And ultimately, come on now, you agents, get out there and create competition for your listing. Make it the one that they all have to have. Hey, thanks for being here today. I appreciate you tuning into all these episodes. And if you know somebody who needs to learn a little bit more about how to market their property, please share this along. And we'll try to reply to all your comments as well. Thanks.